appears to be no sound except for toot. Oh, I heard that. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, it takes me exactly that long to switch on my audio and video settings. Good job, Restream, on making that easy. Welcome to this week's. Actually, not really a what the heck. It's a what the Modular. Because we're going to recap all the Modular stuff, and we have a lot to go through. We have Enthusiast Electrons. We have Forestine here. I'm actually going to skip intros this time because we have so much content to go over. Just assume that these are both, for the first time watchers, really awesome people that know what they're doing. Yeah, experts. Anyway,
Here is Talking Heads. We're here as Talking Heads.
yeah. Here's talking.
Listening heads today.
Mm-hmm.
Listening heads. That's really good. Now, the question is, what did I do with? Oh, unprepared YouTube with Modular. I had it open in a different browser, and I want to share from this browser, so bear with me. Let's see here. We are on Clocktober, and I'll share that tab and all that stuff, and we can get into it. How's everybody doing in the chat? I know it's like
delay.
pretty hard to live in a chat. There's definitely delay. Let's see here. Share screen. Chrome tab. Modular. There we go. Cool. And I'm just gonna get right into it. What's up, Frederick, Nick, DJ MJR? Yeah, we have this sweet little intro screen.
Should we just explain what the Modular is?
Yeah, it's Clocktober, so it's actually let's try this layout. No. They're all equally bad. We'll just go to black background. That's better. Okay, so it's Clocktober. So we do a Modular every month, which is just a Modular theme that is very vague and lets you do your own thing based on a prompt. This last month was Clocktober, which means, I don't know, you involve a clock of some sort. Modular has a lot of clock sources. You can use actual clocks. You can do some dividing and multiplying and I don't know, all sorts of cool stuff with clocks. So yeah, it's pretty open-ended. What's up, Emily? Cool to see you here. Well, we have a lot of stuff to go through. So I'm going to start with Isaac. Some people did stream do multiple submissions. So in the sake of time, we'll just do one of theirs and then loop back. So start with Isaac. Let me know how the audio levels are. Assuming you can all hear that. All right.
Oh, now we can't read the ticker.
Oh, if I do this, make it better? No.
QPass must be doing the stereo thing.
Yeah, QPass is the go-to for stereo on this one. And I believe its shale is in use as well. One of Isaac's modules.
Oh, and the one you wrote, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it started towards the end, which I didn't want to do, but let's get back. There we go. This is like almost a Krell patch. Like it's pretty cool. Like I feel like you're on an alien planet or something.
I love the especially with the plants around. Very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Isaac usually includes real and imaginary plants. You never know.
You never know. Imaginary pixel plants.
Pixel plant.
Isaac's also sounded like very naturey this time. Like there's a lot of just very organic sounds.
Many clocks going on. So is everything just a clock? Is that what that means?
Yeah, you can sort of hear things going in and out of sync. I wonder if they're unsynced clocks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really hard to know what to write on these tickers.
I'm doing this one in reverse. I went through and watched all of these and like noted some timestamps, and we're doing this one in reverse. So I apologize. Sometimes you just gotta go with it.
It's a remix.
Yeah.
Very quantum. The clock's running in both directions.
I think this one has some supersonic sounds, some sounds that are above human hearing or below or something, because I think about 2 minutes in or so, something changed and my dog immediately got up and ran away. So
Oh, I should try it on loose.
Hey Paul, welcome.
Oh yeah, just to mention, because I thought it was funny earlier, that half of us are on daylight savings just ended. And it ended last week for some people on EMS. Some people didn't have it at all. So, and it's clock day.
It's time.
Yeah, yeah. The irony was not lost on me. Okay, this time we're going to shock value, and we're going to start at the correct timestamp, which is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And let's see, 36. There we go.
It's like he's in the show with us.
That's like a perfect spot. Some mega reverb. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that transcription.
That's a very nice stereo.
If you're not watching this with headphones on, that's totally acceptable. Just like turn your phone sideways or like get two phones.
Two phones.
But it is really nice with headphones.
Or properly placed studio monitors.
So not my studio monitors. I love that with any of these recordings, I don't know if it's like actual NASA recordings or what, but like even if you can't understand them, you immediately like they have a sound to them that's recognizable.
Yeah, like you get the vibe of it, you know what it is.
We're gonna skip just a little bit. Oh, we're already there. Never mind.
What is time?
I was gonna skip to 8 minutes, but we'd already passed that, so what's the point of my timestamps?
That's always a compliment to the music, huh?
Makes me think you need to do more patching, VCV patching with a big monitor. Because usually when I'm doing VCV, it's like I'm a laptop, but it's pretty great when it's big. Get pads.
Yeah, I think that's key with VCV, so you're not like scrolling around. Though I have seen some people masterfully use it on small screens. It's pretty wild.
Good. I also want Shock Value to do a class on pleasant pads.
I want to get Shock Value on here one day. That's peer pressure for future Shock Value when you watch this.
Yeah.
You have to go back to the late.
It's always like, I don't have any modules though, and we're like, you have all of the modules, buddy. Like, so good. This one just gets better and better, but I have to move on. The playlist is available on youtube.com/Earth Modular Society, and then look for the Modular playlist. This one's Octobers. Well, spoilers. Hold on. Let's see. We want to start this one at 25. Yeah.
Like the clock on top of the case there. Watch.
It's a lovely watch.
Yeah.
Why does stereo make things nice?
It's hard to get nice stereo. It's really easy to make overwhelming stereo. So it's like impressive. Also,
I was gonna say we've had 2 in a row from like every patch from
There is a lot of stereo in these.
Stereo, like really
Yeah.
makes the ear happy.
patch notes incoming.
I was just gonna say I just found if it's on the one on the 15th. I just found what it says in. I just found that.
Oh, I really like that with the ping ponging changing.
Here, I'll read these notes for anyone who's not looking for chat, like anyone in the future. It says mostly stages, Easter egg mode with a healthy dose of reverb, sequenced by Moscow 2. First 5 steps of the sequence are pinged with 5 subharmonics on stages. Through a clocked ping pong echo where I change the clock divisions frequently, cause chaos.
I just had a really dumb idea. We should do like Longtober or something, like where we just have people make really, really long streams, and then when instead of a highlight reel, I just marathon the whole thing.
Give John O. Wells a run for his money.
Yeah. Exactly.
I really like when people do very short patches though, as well. I mean, I love long patches. Yeah, for the Modular where it's like, here's the thing I put together.
People should just stream. Is the
Yeah,
exactly.
whatever length.
It doesn't matter whether it's longer or short. Yeah, and I think I've had a couple where I've started. I was like, it's gonna be just like 5 or 10 minutes worth of an idea, and I start streaming and like 40 minutes later. Oh, it's not ready. Nice, yeah. Clock springs.
All right, I'm gonna move on.
Music to.
It's so nice, though.
I know. I had to set a stopwatch. Just the irony is not lost on me. Again.
Okay, then we jump into something that's not sitting back and pleasant.
I don't know. I mean, just like what started
right.
towards the end. The beginning is pretty minimal, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing's nice. I have a bunch of marks or timestamps.
So since I'm here, I can describe what's happening.
Yeah.
If I remember, I did a whole immediately after this. I did another stream, which was just a description, and then I've now completely forgotten. But the basic idea is that I just built this clock divider, divide and conquer by nonlinear circuits, which is the thing in the top left there that's doing all the really good red blinking, and that's being clocked by dope for LFO square wave. And then the divisions are basically running everything in the patch. So the divisions are triggering various envelopes, and then they're also doing creating the the pitch changes. So the pitches are not being sequenced. The pitches are actually what I do is I take 4 of the different clock divisions and then ran them through the attenuator there, the attenuator at the bottom, and then added them up in hydrogen, so that each one I could basically tune each one, each of the different divisions, add them up, and then quantize it, and then send it out. But then it also got sent out to different places. So from the quantizer, which is ornament prime, it goes into again, it gets volted into helium, and on one of the voices, it was a sample and hold, which is another one of the divisions, is sort of triggering when the sample and hold samples, and then the other one's just running at 1-to-1. And beyond that, the other thing that makes it switch up and not just sort of like the same thing in monotonous is the noise engineering Weisberger, which I love. I read about it, and I was like, well, sounds interesting, but I really need to get this switch. It's amazing. It's a sequential switch, 8 in, 8 out, and you can divide it up by 2s or 4s or all 8. And so right here now, what I've got is from the divide and conquer, it goes into all 8 of the inputs on the switch, and then from there it's going out and doing the things that it described. So it's one setup, but then if you hit advanced, then it goes and it switches. And I have it on all 8, and it's random right now. But random, so every time you hit advanced, it basically randomizes. So one of the inputs could go out with multiple outputs, or it just switches it up, in an unpredictable way. And so I have a switch on that, so I can just leave it on 1 if I wanted to just keep doing the same thing, or else that's a division that's one of the clock divisions, every 64, whatever it is, it'll switch. So
That's cool.
So that's how these changes come in at regular intervals. Something will happen. Change it up. Oh, and also, the noise that square wave recon pulse width going through the AI up and down. Even though it's the first filter I ever built.
I really like this part. It's like very dramatic.
Oh, and then there's also the Templigio doing the kick.
Gotta say that the Templigio is like, I think it's a hit. It's pretty solid module.
Yeah. I can't wait for when they release the cheat sheet or whatever it is to be able to program it yourself, like they have for
Yeah,
other one.
yeah, that'll be cool.
Not that I know how to do that, but I'll figure it out.
Why'd you do that change up? I was about to go to the next song, but it sounds so good.
Where did he get to the really crappy part so we could go to something else?
Well, it sounds like I'm starting to play with beads, and I still haven't quite got the handle on that, so I might get.
None of it's crappy.
I'm afraid none of it's crappy.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to DJ MJR, which had a nice. They did a nice patch notes, but we're gonna start at 120.
Oh, I thought that sounded like a Delay No More. Why didn't I read the screen? It's my favorite Haunted Ice Machine sound.
Paul's like, I'll just have to stream a few things so you have crap to cut from.
Four filters being pinged. That's a lot of pings.
Yeah, they're all pretty different filters too.
Wait, you can ping Delay No More? Or is that receiving one of the?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because it could feedback on itself. You can kind of make it do stuff with voltage without putting any sound in. It's the sound of a karaoke delay being in distress.
That's on my next. I'm working my way through my first nonlinear circuit order, and I got 6 modules, 6 PCBs, and I love it because they all sort of use the same small number of very basic components. So, like 1-cent components, and I made a big spreadsheet, stocked up, got 6 of the panels because they're the same, flat rate no matter how many you buy from Australia. So anyway, point is Delay No More is on my my next list, my next order. Make it through the current one.
I have taken it out, but the next thing that we need to do is replace the handmade back trolls, maybe, with some store-bought ones, because it just doesn't have any range at all. It's just Haunted Ice Machine, and I can't get anything else out of it.
Yeah, I bought Bin Dubba. The sequencer has 2 back trolls in it, and I just ordered actual store-bought ones because I didn't trust myself to make.
Yeah.
I gotta limit the number of things that could go wrong. But those were like $4 each, I think, from which are by far the most expensive component in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got them from AI Synthesis. He stocks them there on his website.
Yes, I like the little blurbs too.
I also love that it's there's the loudest analog watch they've got, mic'd and VCA'd. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It has a whole music feel to it with the dings.
Oh, that's the glockenspiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the blurps are getting kind of rubbery and bouncy.
Are you using the LED and then
Photodiode.
LR?
Yeah, LDR.
Light resistant. The light diode thing, resistor, taped together kind of thing. That's the trick. And the reason, for those who aren't familiar, if you take an LED and a light resistant diode or whatever they are, LDR, and tape them to each other with like some heat shrink or something, when you light up an LED and immediately cut power to it, it takes a second for the light to sort of dim, and that's where you get that like sort of natural curve of like an LDR, basically. Because
I guess that's all a back roll is, right?
Yep, it's pretty much just that. Yeah.
The dispersion delay had a place where you could attach a resistor if it was acting too like wild, because there was just no range. But the delay no more, we tried to put a resistor on, and it just made the whole thing really quiet.
I feel like so with the AI synthesis modules, I've got a lot of them that I built, and I really like them. I like building them, but it is something where like they are different from the the store bought, the ones that are assembled with more parts. Sometimes like the ADSR, the AI synthesis one is like, it's great, but it has a really, really wide range. It can go from fairly short to 25 minutes. And so it's not snappy. It doesn't have, so then I got a different ADSR, the WMD, the Javelin. Oh yeah, that's a lot more response.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was sort of the same kind of thing with the filter I had on that one. Yeah, the filter, I was like, I wasn't quite sure about it, but then now it's my favorite filter. But I do have the what is it called? The LPG, Pass Gate, which is basically like it runs on the back trolls as the sort of classic, low curve. And I still haven't quite. It's weird because it feels like it needs time to warm up in terms of when you trigger it. It's like it has a different response from when you start triggering it to after it's been going for a little while. It's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like it's slow and then it gets faster.
All right, we're about to do some woke.
I was catching up on these this morning, and I got stuck on this one because it was just really good.
Yeah, this one's pretty solid. We will be skipping around a bit on this one.
I missed this one live, and I didn't see the Google Morgan, everybody. Very good.
Paul, I asked if it's ping pong or just some reverb. I think there's a combination of reverb and a ping pong delay somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably true too. Like, because the reverb will make the stereo not as abrupt when it's changing. Hey, we have matching lamp elbows.
I have a broken version of one of those lamps that I want to do something with. Like, I feel like it's a nice stand for something.
Bring mine in here. Mine's lying in a corner, and I put it on the desk for soldering. Otherwise, it's like this in my way. I can't really see the screen.
Yeah, mine's like similar, but instead of a standard lamp shade, it's like the minimal half dome with the halogen bulb. And I definitely don't want to fix it because I don't much care for halogen bulbs, but I want to do something with it. So I burned myself too much on it.
They're so hot. Hazardously hot.
You can get like LED bulbs that fit in there, but I don't know. I've never tried that. So
I tracked down some tungsten bulbs though, so the color is bright for streaming. Green.
Halogen coffee warmer. Since I don't drink coffee. Hot water is just not great by itself, so
That's one of those things that my grandma always did, which is like the grandma did not believe in enjoying anything. Go to a restaurant and order hot water. I drank it. Awful.
I prefer to wake up to hot water
Yeah.
and nothing else.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got too into it. The volume was too high. I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Can we peer pressure Will Gas Messiah into doing a DFAM tutorial?
Maybe so. Like, it's a funny machine. Like, there's a lot you can do with it, but it just sounds good with hardly any patching. Like, if you look,
yeah.
like most of the time,
I just want to like
unpatched.
figure how the people use it.
Yeah. I tend to sort of bring it in and out of other things. So like, when I start a patch or like start a song, like I'll have it sort of cut off down and maybe even volume down. And then later on, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's when you start bringing it in, and like all of a sudden you have a magic DFAM town where you can perform it a bit. But I don't do much to it. I like the noise patch where you go, I think, pitch output to noise level or something like that.
Well, I always do that.
Yeah.
Pretty much always do that one.
Yeah.
I like doing just like little jazzy hats with it sometimes too. Like,
I mean, it does that really well. Yeah, you flip that high pass filter and crank it, and it's jazzy hats with a short kick. All right, I'm sorry, Woke. Don't be mad, but we're going to the next person. We're skipping over all of these folks. There's so many. All right. And this one starts at 1:30. The reason I'm starting further in on some of these is that they do start off really well. It's just like sometimes there's like setup time, like opening chat and stuff, so it takes a minute to get going. we're skipping all that though.
Right, that's actually a camera pointed at an actual watch, though. That was like a whole.
Yeah, I actually
point
thought
of
this was
excitement.
Schmooster for a minute.
That is a spinning contraption with the watch over it, overlaid, right?
Well, so there's
And I
the
think
big Ben on top of the watch. The watch is there too. Yeah, the big.
Yeah.
So underneath the not moving thing is the spinning watch, right?
Yeah. It is
but the
kinda
moving thing
jerky.
is spinning to the music.
People are saying it's weirdly jerky.
Oh, that could be by internet.
I think Schmutzer's stuff. There was so much happening that just the original stream was choppy, just because there's like a lot to compress. And,
oh yeah, it looks really pixelated to me.
yeah, because there's a lot happening. I think OBS was like just overwhelmed.
It's still cool.
Yes.
Should be able to freeze
It's so wildly different than the last 8 we watched or whatever. And I kind of like how choppy the video looks. I don't know.
The spinning is controlling the laser, which is controlling the tempo.
Hmm.
So the spinning contraption is important.
Let me try some of that.
Oh yeah, Paul Curry, that's a good point. I would venture to say that most of the pixels are changing.
But that is
every
news to me. Yes, all of them are. I was just whacking things.
channeling your okay.
Track.
Yeah.
Track.
That's the funniest patch note.
With
all
the
right.
smiley face. That's part of the patch note.
All right, Ben and Brown, 20 seconds in. I hadn't watched all of these when they were like I didn't watch them while the stream was happening, for various reasons. But I think on one of the ones after this one, like Frederick's or somebody's, like that started with like a clock sound like this. I was like, oh, I was so excited about it, which I now feel bad about because I didn't see like a lot of these start with clock sounds. I was like, you're a genius, but like so many people did it. It's awesome.
They're still all a genius.
Everybody is a genius, is what I'm trying to say, not just the one person. and I really enjoyed this one.
Yes, it is a Tempe and a Pam.
Yep. If I remember right, I think we asked Ben about this. And then Ben's not the only one who uses that combo. I've seen a few other folks use it, but like they're both performable in like different ways, which make them both really useful in a patch.
Yeah, I remember when I was trying to decide which one to get. I feel like Tempe is more my style, but it was unavailable forever, and Pam's became available, and Pam's does other things too, like LFO, and I really like Pam's great, as we all know.
Pam is great.
I liked the Tempe like interactions that I saw. I don't know if Pam's does this because I have not looked thoroughly into Pam's, but like I like that Tempe. You can like sort of tap things to clock divide or multiply or whatever.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Pam's is more of a set ahead of time kind of thing, or you get really, really good at encoding fast.
Yeah,
encoding really fast.
Exactly. Yeah. And Pam's is not. I don't enjoy using Pam's during. It's not a jam type thing, but it's extremely useful to have. Tempe though is also one of those ones where it's like I could build that, but won't ever.
But would you? This is the problem of people who make things.
But I just like I know how to. I just
I mean, if you wanted to, and we were gonna build a thing together, that would be one that I would do to build a big like arcade button Tempe for Cosmo.
Ooh, Cosmo Tempe.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's one where it's like, it'd be really easy to just do a simple, fairly inexpensive microcontroller that you can get, for $20. Yeah. But that was back in the old days when you could get those things. Microcontrollers are scarce.
I did see recently, like I have a bunch of alerts for things like that. I think on Tata, a bunch of Nanas showed up for around $3 or $4, so it might not be a bad place to look.
I mean, I have all I need right now for prototyping, but like teensy.
Yeah.
Mainly teensies,
I think I'll have a few of those lying around too.
Yep. I got one of each teensy that I've collected through the years.
Big honking button if you want an arcade button. I liked that one so much I made my own panel for it. It's actually right behind my head. Right there. And the button's giant. It's the mega honking button.
Hey, how about this? I was thinking, it's like, how could you sort of one up that button? Because that button is enormous, I was like, what? Okay, just add like a tilt switch somewhere inside the zip, and so the entire thing, it's like tilt, so you're like,
oh my god,
shake the whole rack.
It's really stable, but if I did that, people would like lose their mind because it looks like I'm about to die.
I keep saying that you need to put a do not tip sticker on it, like on a vending machine.
I have that sticker designed. It's a matter of time.
I also need one for my cat's feeding machine. Although I don't think she'll read it.
Yeah, imagine like dropping it like that. Get it on the side.
Oh, I like these pads that came in. They're nice.
Yeah, they're really nice.
And I like the little, I
said it before and I said it again. This is one of my favorite racks here. Like, this is just like every module. Love it. There's an alternate universe where that's exactly what I end up with instead of starting out with big plans.
Yes, we can all live vicariously through each other's things.
Yeah. That's a nice thing.
I want to keep listening, but we're already going through time pretty fast. All right, Frederick, we're starting. You had 2 minutes.
He's up, joining us up here.
Tilt switches on a fidget spinner. I actually have this fidget spinner module. I'm like 80% of the way done with that. I've just been letting sit. That's
Wow.
just a fidget spinner over a bass pickup.
Nice. Yeah, that'd work.
That'd easily work. Yeah.
Yeah, use some pickups for November.
Oh, what you could do a fidget spinner over light an LDR.
Yeah. The problem with that is I need light that's consistent. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you need the Red Diamond Restaurant flashlight, or nothing else will
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. All right, Frederick, give us the patch notes. Let's go. I see you in chat.
Ah, dang, that's cool. Whatever is going on. Tell us.
Yeah. Halogen bulb over spinner LDR. That's a great way for me to burn myself over and over again. Performatively.
And you won't ever learn either.
Mm-mm. But it sounds so good. Speaking of sounding good, this patch sounds great. Oh my gosh, I just had another dumb idea, right? Like,
Oh,
thank you, Paul Curry, for inspiring this. Paul said, "Mic yourself for the screams," but this isn't really the dumb idea. The dumb idea is make like an entire outfit. You know, like the motion capture outfits that have the ping pong balls everywhere? But instead of those, piezo mics everywhere. And just like rustle around
Yes.
weirdly.
sampled a clock, ran it through the phonogene at the end of slice, and used it to clock everything. Not
Yeah.
everything.
Heck, you joke, but like I often, if you listen to a lot of people walking around with mics, you know, wireless mics,
I'm only half joking. These are like ideas I write down.
no, but you can just like,
Like that guy, the one-man band guy. Have you seen him?
hey,
What is his name? The really serious business guy. I love him.
With
the
accelerometers, so
washboard
you're
on
just
the-
like flailing around different.
This is just so good.
And Frederick's only had the one timestamp because it's short and awesome, so. Yeah. I mean, the ideal, right, is to make an outfit that's controlling your music in such a way and performative in such a way that, like rave dancing or like really high speed, like drum and bass, like dancing makes sense because it's performative. Like you're actually making the music, doing all the.
What's your
Where's-
bad?
who was it? I forget who it was. There's someone on there's someone on the team that Spook Fest last weekend, or whatever it was, 2 weekends ago.
What was that?
There's someone on Spook Fest who I forget who it was, but had the projectors going on. Basically, just like projectors. Who was that? You remember that? You saw that?
I haven't seen all of them because it was
I
like
didn't
2
follow
whole
that.
days, and I'm still catching up.
It was awesome. It was like towards the end, people were like, it "Wouldn't be a Spook Fest without."
If you
so-and-so." I
can
didn't
find
know
it,
who
can
was,
you post it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can find it again, but it was just basically like had something playing, and then like the performance was at the beginning anyway had a projector, and it was like layers of projectors. So like the camera on him, and then like that was being projected again onto himself, and then smaller and then smaller and smaller.
Right, because it was like a green
delay.
screen
So
behind him. Right.
They basically
so it
like
was-
did this. It wasn't green screen. It's just like projected on himself. So like you
Oh.
do this, and then you'd see like himself go like smaller, and he had like his hair up in a bun and like, or not a bun, but like up somehow, and like a suit and a necktie, and it was just rocking it, and it was awesome. And then came back without the suit and did some other stuff. So.
All right, we're on the last performer, but not the last track we'll listen to. We'll go a little overtime because there's a couple I want to loop back to, like Enthusiastic, since we have you on. There's the second one you did I thought was really cool because I don't know, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's like a really sweet visual involved.
This is
Musicalized latency.
I had this patch going for like 3 weeks, and I kept sitting down trying to do something to it, and then failing. And then I was like, oh, if I stream again, it'll be the 75th one on this playlist that I keep that's got EMS and other stuff on it. But then my internet kept crapping out, so this is a very weirdly stressful one. I added a bunch of things that were very clocked to it. Like when the grandmother comes in. And it was like, sometimes you get something ready and then you start streaming and all of a sudden everything sounds out of tune, and it sounded fine 5 minutes ago. I think it was just because my internet was crappy. Anyway. Bleh.
Bleh. No one should have to suffer talking about their own patch on the internet.
These are from streams over the month, so we have a patch theme that we vote on our Discord, and then anyone who streams with the theme during the month can participate.
These are all from the month, with the theme involved somehow.
Yeah, if you skip ahead, you'll get more clocked items.
And we don't like necessarily. I am going to skip ahead actually real quick before. Well, since you brought it up, we don't really like care if you like go over, like if it's like Clocktober and you're like, well, the audio's from clock multiplying the clock, and like you don't have to like go like way intense where everything is clock related, but it's more of a prompt just to make some cool music. So yeah,
very much. If it interests you, it makes you think, oh, this is cool, and that's what it's about. That's what's good enough. It's not. There's no strict rules or anything.
you have like the nicest collection of cables. Those are really nice.
Thank you.
Oh, I saw that Moog tweeted or Instead or whatever. They're like, we're no longer going to make the dark series of the grandmother and the matriarch. And I was like, yes.
Yes.
Because I like the colorful ones so much more.
Like, why? This one is so friendly. Why wouldn't you want it to be friendly?
I don't know. And it also feels like a really good visual aid.
Yeah, I found it
yeah.
super helpful for learning how to do synths. Oh yeah, so I have this going, and then I have a switch with another trigger coming out of Steppy, which is going to trigger the envelope more. Yeah.
Should I wait longer before skipping ahead?
No,
I'm skipping ahead.
there it is.
I love that the
Steppy is also clocking the defam.
yeah, you can see the defam's like, I don't know if it's a little irregular or what.
It had swing on it, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like audio is like, I'm here trying to survive in this ocean of sound. So good.
It turns out the tuning was fine. While I was streaming, all of a sudden it sounded horrible. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It's fine.
My MS10 was doing that before I got it fixed. It would like all of a sudden go like way out. And so I'd fix it and then it would like fix itself, which means it would go out again the other direction. That was a fun one. Turns out I had the wrong power supply in there.
That would do it.
It's like spicy ambient, I think is the correct genre.
Spambient?
Spambient. Delicious.
I got this phone call the other day from some unknown number, and it's just this music, ambient music. Like, stop.
Ambient, oh my gosh, ambient hold music is like pretty funny as a concept.
Yeah, this would make you really anxious if you were waiting for an important like person to answer.
Or like, yeah, like if you start with like some like really mellow, like just barely audible pitched sound that's mostly noise, like please hold. Our service representative will be with you in 10 minutes.
Like you could put on the do not ambient list, please.
Slowly escalates. All right.
And by the time they finally answer the phone, it's solid noise.
These are free ideas for anyone working.
Oh, so there's some advice. If you are streaming and you're like, that sounded terrible, maybe listen to it a couple weeks later. It might have been fine.
That is really good advice. All right, I think this is. No, this one's really cool, but this isn't thinking of. Hold on. Well, we'll let it play while.
Like you can skip ahead to the last like 30 seconds, you know.
I think it's this one. No, that's the one before the patch notes. This one, maybe?
Well, that one's the max patch that I actually have running right here.
That's the max patch. Is this the one? Which one of the ones?
And then the last one, which was the late entry, was the max patch, but on the actual synth. The same thing, but going through the MIDI to CD.
Yeah, is this the one that has the? Yeah, hold on. Okay, this is the one I thought was cool. I mean, they're all cool, but like this one was pretty rad. Because like the visuals are clearly tied in, and you've got some nice lights happening, which I love so much.
Oh yeah, the late entry with the projector. This was great.
This is a lot of filters being pinged. Actually, it's only 2.
What a surprise!
That's just.
Oh,
I mean,
wanted to
come
ask you what
on.
the wah was. Did
that
we
not
ask
the
you what the wah
coolest?
was yesterday?
I was
The
like
other day.
yelling in this room when I saw this. With the different typefaces too. Come
Yeah.
on. That's the right kind of magic.
It's beautiful.
Dark computer magic. Sounds really good too. Can you imagine being on hold for like an airline trying to recover some luggage while listening to this though?
Oh
Yeah, so this is one which I'd like to actually refine and make it into some sort of hold music that could just go. Because actually, this one would be interesting to hear at different points throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's designed to be a sort of a very long. I was like, what's some way that you could have something that's some modulation that changes over, a long time, but will consistently change. And so this is the first pass at that. This is actually the patch right here. Make that go away. It's that little patch, but if you make
Oh, that's cool.
if you open it up to actually see what the patch does, it's that.
Do you want me to go to this because it has the visual of the max patch?
Hey, oh no, that's okay. I mean, I could just describe it. It doesn't, actually have to.
Because I paused it right at that spot so we could look
Okay.
at it.
So this is actually the same. So it's the same patch more or less, but this one instead uses like 10 plates and whatever you can do in VCV. So this is going through VCV, so it sounds a little more cleaner. But basically, the way that this works is it takes the time. Like it just calls up the date and time, and then I did some math to make it convert it to UTC, which I actually had to change today because of the clock time change. I had to say because I'm now UTC -8 instead of -7. But basically, it's each of these numbers then goes into a clock divider, and so it's actually really simple. It's like the clock is running at 16th notes at 120 BPM. So it's that one is just a metronome. And then each of these is a clock division. So the first one is basically every 20 beats, and then every 22 beats, and then every 11 beats, and then every 6 beats, and every 18 beats, and every 10 beats, and then every 46 beats, every 47 beats, every 48 beats, every 49 beats. So this one's constantly updating. They're all constantly updating. This one's a lot faster. So this time, every time you roll around to the next minute, suddenly it's every 1 beat, every 2 beats, every 3 beats, so it's like.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so that's something that happens like regularly enough that you can tell that it's evolving because the other ones are too slow for that. And then on top of that, there's another one that pulses every second. There's one that pulses every minute. There's one that pulses every 5 minutes. And on top of that, there's also, you can see the little dials there. The dials are those are just CV going up, which are basically scaling, 60 to the MIDI range, or 0 to 5 volts if you're putting it into modular.
Right.
So on. So that's how you get the rise. So for this particular patch, what it does is the plates that's going more frequently. I think it actually might be the one that's tied to the second division, or the minute division. The tone of it, or one of the values, is sort of being inversely modulated by the 1 minute CV. So that's why it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and then as soon as it rolls around in minutes, and suddenly it sounds more like
That's so cool.
Yep. That's super cool.
That's so cool.
And then so that one that's going, well, actually, I guess that's the every beat. That's the clock. That's the 16th notes. So that one will just get brighter and brighter and brighter until the minute rolls around again.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love this patch. I love this idea. It's awesome. It sounds good too. All right. To wrap it up, I'm gonna cut to Isaac just because it made me laugh. Let's go 10 minutes in. So I have a thing where if somebody puts binary on a screen, even if it's in a marquee, I will translate it. And I don't know if there's a typo, but this binary does not translate. So thanks for that, Isaac. This one's got some cool, like, heavy drum sounds that you probably can't hear if you're not wearing headphones, which is fine. For the best listening experience, listen to it on an old Nokia phone. I love that little oscilloscope. I built probably that exact one didn't come with that clear case, but the software looks identical. And it was one of the hardest things I've had to build. Like, it was the hardest learning curve for me, like at that stage in me building and soldering things, because it came in like a pack with all the components, right? But no real instructions, and none of the components were labeled. So in terms of resistors, they were all the blue resistors, which I have a lot of trouble actually
Oh
like
no, those are hard.
telling them apart. So it was both awful and a good learning experience. So instead of like trying to like guess at which one's which, I just learned how to measure resistors with a multimeter, which was a great exercise. And it worked first try. So. Yeah, it's the DSO 138 or whatever. Yeah, sounds right. Did a lot of searching up.
Do you think Isaac will just keep adding stuff until we can't see anything?
Yeah. The forest is just getting thicker. All right. I have a hard stop, so yeah. Thanks for playing us out, Isaac. Thanks for
everybody for making things.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. This month is Noise-vember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Noise-vember. I knew it was noise related. I just couldn't remember if I got the pun exactly right. Anyway, it's Noise-vember. Has anything to do with noise that you can imagine. I am already setting up some noise things because I am game on. I don't have any more like performances or commitments or whatever, so I'm in this month. And then submit your ideas in Discord in the Modular channel. If you're not on the Discord, we have an EMS Discord, and the link will be somewhere. But earthmodularsociety.com, there's a Discord invite. But drop your ideas for December in, and then we can vote on that. Because right now there's some like really cool ideas like Drone-sember, Doom-sember, Dungeon-sember, like I don't know. In December. In December is just like a minimal drum beat while you're strumming like a ukulele or something. I don't know.
Thinking about chimney sweep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again. I have to run. See you next week.